Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of On Deck here on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan. Finally here. I'm pumped up. Opening day tomorrow. Ready to go. Ready for some baseball. Planning my day so I could definitely be home to watch that Yankees game at 3, but planning where I can watch a lot of baseball tomorrow. Always growing up, loved this because I a lot of times when I was growing up, opening day baseball was during my spring break, and I remember always having opening day baseball, go watch a game, go out, play some wiffle ball with my brother, go watch a game, play some wiffle ball. So opening day, always a great day. Should be a national holiday, but it's not. But beautiful. We got a lot of baseball tomorrow. Spring training over. I'm going to go over some games. Actually, 4 to 6. But me being such a baseball guy, I was like, man, I could talk about so many of these, but it'd be a little too much. But I got like 4 to 6 games you must watch. But I'm jacked up. Yankees at 3 o'clock. I'm really pumped for that one, even though it could be a depressing season. Hopefully everything gets back. But we got some 6. I'm going to kick it off. Opening weekend series, Mets-Astros. Obviously, we all know the big news there. Mets signed Juan Soto. But we got a 3-game series there. Mets-Astros are in Houston. We got game 1, Clay Holmes, Framber Valdez. Obviously, Clay Holmes, the former reliever, moves over. Another guy moves over from the Bronx to the Queens. Former reliever. Had a pretty solid spring, but we'll see how he does. We'll see how he does with transition. Maybe he does better because I don't think he was a very good bullpen piece. Game 2, we got pitching for the Mets would be Tyler Meagle, and still undecided for the Astros. Hunter Brown, Spencer Agranelli, Luis Garcia out, Ronald Blanco, who obviously had that no-hitter last year, so we shall see. Game 3, I think that's on I got to pull up the full schedule. Game 3, I think that might be a Sunday game. We got Griffin Canning, and that'll be undersided. So the Astros will still be will be one of those guys, maybe Brown or Blanco. I think, in my opinion, I think it would be game 2 Brown. I want to say Blanco would go game 3. Now, they do got him listed on the depth chart right now. Blanco is the 5th starter in the rotation, but I think because of that, I think because of his little experience, he goes game 3. I could be wrong. But, obviously the big news is Juan Soto makes his debut for the other team in the Big Apple, the little stepbrother there. But, pretty special player. Largest contract in sports history, 15 years, $765 million, not $1 deferred. So it's going to be a big hit. Can get up to $800 million. And not to mention, he's getting a box at Citi Field for every single game that he will not be able to use, but his family's getting that. And on the other end, he's getting security for his family too. Honestly, I don't know if that's true, but I think it is because he had a problem with some Yankees, but he's getting security to home and road games. But, that'll be the big news tomorrow. Soto's defection from one borough to the other one, to the Mets, in the effort to take over the Big Apple. Will it happen? Every at-bat's going to be scrutinized for Juan Soto with this contract. Just like Shohei would, but Shohei stepped up, got the massive contract and showed up in a big way. But every at-bat's going to be scrutinized for Juan Soto this year. And we all know the New York media. The New York media is a different animal. I'm from Los Angeles. The media there is, is good, but nothing compares to the New York media, the Boston media, but nothing compares to that New York media. So everything's going to be scrutinized for Juan Soto. There'll be days where he goes 0 for 3 because it's baseball, and he'll be on the back pages for sure. And those Mets fans will be angry, especially those Mets fans, because that is a passionate bunch. He'll receive daily questioning, but he's going to go 0 for 3. He's going to have maybe some hat tricks because it's baseball. They'll be facing some great pitchers. But I mean, I think that's a big news that weekend series that series this week is going to be very interesting. Obviously, Soto. If you have MLB, I think it's TV, not extra innings anymore. You got to be watching this. If you have MLB, just the MLB TV on your, not the one you're paid for, I'm sure they're going to be cutting to every single Juan Soto at bat, especially on day one. But that's a big one. We'll see what Pete Alonso does. He got that that contract coming back there. They get Clay Holmes. Obviously, the pitching staff definitely took a little hit. Pitching staff definitely took a little hit. You lose Sean Manaea, who's ramping it up, who's throwing from 90 feet now. But you lose Manaea. They're looking at an April day. You lose Frankie Montas, who they signed from the Brewers. They still don't know his timeline, but Manaea ramping it up, throwing from 90 feet is a good sign. Maybe he's back late April. That'd be a very good sign for the Dodgers. Obviously, they lost to the Dodgers in the NLCS, excuse me. But I mean, I think that's a significant loss for the Mets. I think they're really thin on pitching, especially with Montas and Manaea. You're going to have to throw it together with Clay Holmes, with Tyler Meagle. You got Paul Blackburn. You got AJ Minter. So it's going to be, Griffin Canning, who's a guy I scouted a little bit. He was out of UCLA, solid pitcher out of UCLA, but he's bounced around a little bit, hasn't been able to find a home. Maybe he finds it in Queens. But, I mean, how is this staff going to look throwing it together? You're going to have Clay Holmes, who, reliever turned starter. I want to know how they turn it together. Obviously, the Mets, are going to be in that trade market, but it's not going to be now. We got a lot of big names that could be hitting that traded this year, and the Mets will probably be on all of them. But I think this is a much-watched series. On the other side, for the Astros, it's just a different-looking team, reset from those World Series winning teams. Gone are the days of Bregman, Correa, Turner, George Springer, not Turner, Tucker. Gone are those days. You still have some leftovers. You still got Yordan Alvarez. You still got Framber Valdez, but you don't have Verlander anymore. Maybe what's his name? Oh my God! Anybody out there? What's the pitcher's name? I'm thinking that was really big in those World Series runs for the Astros. If anybody's out there listening can remember, I'm going to kill myself because I know it. I know who he is. I'm blanking on his name right now. He just pitched in the spring for the Astros, was big. He's been out for a couple years. Unfortunately, I'm going to pull this up right now because it's going to drive me nuts if I can't remember. And the minute I see this, the minute Lance McCullers, when will he come back? Hey, I know Lance McCullers from Tampa. I'm in kind of the Tampa area. I'm in Bradenton right now, so it's I guess a suburb of Tampa. I didn't know he's there, but I want to see what McCullers does because he was a big part of those World Series teams and hasn't pitched for a while. Did pitch in the spring, but on the big news first off, who's going to step up for the Astros this year? I think Alvarez obviously is going to step up. Big news on the Astros is 2024 first-round pick for the Cubs, who was trading that Kyle Tucker trade. Cam Smith out of Florida State gets the call up and makes the big league roster on opening day. If anybody saw how he got called up, from Joe Espada called him up. His mother came out and gave him the news. It was pretty touching, pretty nice. Cam Smith had a massive, massive, massive spring. And at least as of now, they got him penciled in at right field. And as a guy who loves college baseball, I like the way the baseball's starting to go. It's going more. We're seeing more college players get called up quicker, help a team out. I like it. I like what the Astros are doing because they're seeing that this guy can help the big league club right now. Why do we hold him down? He can help the club win. Bring him up. Who cares about service time? Bring him up. He's ready to go. But obviously, was that big piece. Obviously, I mean, I think he's going to solid. This guy had a solid spring. He was very, very good at Florida State. Florida State's very good right now. Number 5, I think they're number 5 in the country. So if you live in the Tallahassee area, go watch Florida State baseball. They'll be hosting a regional this year. Definitely, that'll be in May. So if you live in that area, in the Panhandle, Tallahassee area, you definitely want to go see Florida State because they're a really good team and they have some very interesting prospects. I don't know the left. They got this one lefty who's going to be a really high draft pick out of Florida State. I can't remember his name, but he's going to be a stud. I mean, baseball, he's a stud right now. I think he can be really good, be a high draft pick. So if you are in that area, go check out Florida State baseball. They're really good this year. All right, going to game 2. We got the Dodgers-Tigers. So obviously, we all know the Dodgers. I'm interested in this series because game 1, we got Cy Young winner, AL Cy Young winner, Tarek Skubal going up against former NL Cy Young winner, Blake Snell. Game 2 will be Yamamoto versus the question mark. Maybe I'm thinking Jack Flaherty. Game 3 will be the debut of Roki Sasaki going up against, they still are undecided, maybe a Casey Mize. So who knows with that? Maybe, I don't know. But, I mean, the Dodgers, what are these newcomers going to do? Snell with the opening day start. Sasaki with the debut game 3. I'm excited to see that. There's so much hype around the Dodgers team. Can Ohtani build off that amazing season when he's back pitching? But game 1, what will former Cy Young Blake Snell do on the mound? He had a very subpar first half, very slow, but his second half was very strong with the Giants. So I think he's gonna have a really good year because he's not gonna be forced to go 6 or 7 innings every game because that bullpen's so deep. I think that's solid. Yamamoto going game 2. We obviously saw Yamamoto in the playoffs. We saw Yamamoto when he was healthy in the regular season. The guy's a gamer. Guy's a solid, really good pitcher. If he stays healthy, can end up one of the better pitchers in the game. But he's got to stay healthy. Game 3 will be, everybody tuning in. You want to see Roki Sasaki. Solid spring. What was that? Some of those pitches are 98, 99. Guy does not look phased on the mound at all. I'm excited to see what this newcomer Sasaki does with the first season coming over from the MPB. So I'll be watching that. And then on the Dodgers end, they also added to their weakness with starting pitching. Obviously, they only had those 3 starting pitchers in the playoffs that still found a way to win, but you add to their weakness and you add Blake Snell and you add Yamamoto, who could come back. Not Yamamoto, Sasaki, the other Japanese pitcher. There's too many Japanese guys from Japanese players on this team. Losing track. You add that, you add Sasaki, you add Snell to go with Klassen. I'll go with Yamamoto to go with Ohtani when he's back. It's going to be solid. You still got Clayton Kershaw when he ever comes back. You have Dustin May, who had a solid last outing in spring training. But then you add to your depth, which was their depth, was their bullpen, was their strength all year last year, and you add Kirby Yates, who was a solid closer. Motherfucker! I'm so sorry. I just spilled water all over my computer. I'm going to have to take a 5-second break. I'm sorry, guys. I just spilled water on my computer. Hey, Bobby, if you're there, you want to tune in real quick? I'm really sorry. I just spilled all my water all over everything. I apologize, guys. I'm sorry about that. I'm just cleaning my computer. That's a beautiful F up for me. I apologize, everybody out there. All right, we're back. It's going to be interesting, but I'm sorry. I apologize. I had to clean my computer. But I mean, on the Dodgers side, I mean, you add Kirby Yates, you add Tanner Scott, who's the top bullpen arm. So I'm really excited to see what. Not excited, but definitely will be not excited because I don't like the Dodgers, but I think that's you're adding to your strength. On oh man, this is frustrating. All over my computer, all over my area where I'm working right now. I'm trying to make sure I don't.
Russ, what happened? What's up, dude?
Sorry, I spilled water all over my computer. So I'm literally like apologizing and cleaning.
Oh man, nothing better than live stream when something goes down like that.
You're like, oh, mother effort.
I was wondering. I was outside with my son and I saw you want to hop on real quick. I'm like, uh-oh. I was like, let me go check what happened.
No. I mean, dude, I'm literally like, you can barely see me because I was just trying to make sure I didn't lose, get it quick before it went on my, lose my computer or something.
I get it, man.
All right, I think we're good. I'm back. Thanks, Bobby.
Hey, no problem. Sorry I didn't get in here sooner. I was wondering what was going on when before I could sit down. I saw you weren't on the screen, so I was like, I wonder if he's picking something up. Then I heard, oh, I spilled. Uh-oh. All right. Yeah, we're back to normal programming now. Here we go. Russ Morgan on deck.
On that front, I apologize for my language there. I did spill water everywhere. I went for another cup, and it was just bam all over me. So let me. All right. I hope everybody's still there. I apologize for the language. But I mean, on the Tigers side, I had to get my notes back because my computer's, I was cleaning my computer. So it's all over the place. On the Tigers side, obviously, you made some quality free agent signings. You had Gleyber Torres from the Yankees. You had Jack Flaherty. You had Jack Flaherty to the rotation, which was already solid, but you never really had a solidified number two with the Tigers after Skubal, but that's solid. So I mean, that's a solid pickup. The guy had a nice October run, so that's a good pickup. Will Tarik Skubal be able to build off last year from that Cy Young? In my opinion, yes. I don't know if he wins the Cy Young again this year. I think it's very hard going back to back, but I think he's going to be in the run-in again. You're going to get back Casey Mize, who was the first overall pick out of University of Auburn this year, who's been looking good in the spring. That rotation should be solid with Skubal, with Flaherty, with Mize. And you bring up top overall prospect Jackson Jobe, who's an exciting prospect. You add Gleyber Torres is going to be at second. What's going to happen to Spencer Torkelson, who's struggling to find a spot? You still got Matt Vierling. You got a solid outfield there with Parker Metters and Riley Green. What's going to happen with Javi Baez? Obviously signed that big contract, hasn't been able to play, so he's supposed to be back. What's going to happen with him? You got Trey Sweeney still at short. We're supposed to see him quick. I need water now. Hopefully I don't spill it again like a jackass I am. All right, I'm sorry. I had to get some water. As I'm here by myself, sometimes I do get a little parched, and I guess that's apparent because I just spilled water all over by myself, and sometimes I do need a drink. But going into Game 3, we've got Red Sox Tigers. Rob, if you're in there, get excited this week. We got Red Sox Tigers opening up. Red Sox Rangers, excuse me. I don't know why I said Tigers. I guess I was thinking about Terry Scooball again. Red Sox Rangers. Game 1 will be Garrett Crochet, Nathan Eovaldi. Game 2 will be Tanner Houck and Jack Leiter, former son of Major League pitcher Al Leiter. Game 3, you have Buehler and Tyler Mahale. But obviously the big news will be the debut of Garrett Crochet. Obviously, he's the future of that Red Sox rotation. How will you live up to his now as this team is prepared to win? Also, on the other note of Crochet is they're supposedly in contract talks, and their team is far apart. But I mean, the guy, he didn't have a great win-loss. He's 6-12 last year, but he was on the White Sox, so that's not surprising. But I think it's a big pickup from the Red Sox. They've been very competitive this year. You obviously, Houck was a solid guy for them last year. And then you add, Walker Buehler starting Game 3. This guy's just win healthy. One of the better pitchers in the game. Obviously, had Tommy John back 2 years in a row, but the guy's October proof. For some reason, he finds to get the way to get it done in October, and he did it for the Dodgers last year during that World Series run. You're going to have Rafael Devers, who is breaking news. Devers is moving to DH, so I think that's massive because that means you're massive signing Alex Bregman, Gold Glove third baseman, will play third base. So that's solid. The outfield depth is solid for them. You still have Joe Duran. I don't know how to say your center fielder's name, and you still have Abreu Willer, I think is his name. Obviously, on the prospect note, Christian Campbell did make the opening day roster. When are we going to see? Where will he be playing? He did play second base in the spring, but some scouts think he might be more suited to the outfield. Will he be starting tomorrow? The other note on the Dodgers is when are we going to see Christian Campbell? I mean, that Roman Anthony, top overall prospect for the Dodgers outfielder. When are we going to see them? On the Rangers side, Leiter makes his debut Game 2. Cooper Rocker makes the opening day club 2. So I mean, this was if you watch college baseball, the World Series when the Vanderbilt Commodores won the World Series, this was the nastiest 1-2 in college baseball. Rocker, Leiter, both top overall picks. It was nasty, and I loved it. Tim Corbin does a hell of a job producing pitchers at Vanderbilt. Obviously, started off with David Price, Sonny Gray. You got Walker Buehler. You had there was the other guy with the Braves. I can't remember his name off the hand. He's kind of fell off, but He was big in the World Series run. And then you obviously got Walker Buehler, you got Leiter, you got Rocker, and you got some studs there too. So, I mean, Tim Corbin at Vanderbilt does a hell of a job. I'm ready for a big year from Florida standout Wyatt Langford, who had a solid rookie campaign. I'm ready for him to break out big. I want to see what Jacob deGrom does, because when healthy, he's solid. Will he stay healthy this year? But I think this team's going to be in contention for the AL West. Pretty much a wide open division this year. So I think it's going to be a very competitive division. Maybe there'll be some surprises. I don't think it'll be the Angels, but maybe the A's. Maybe the A's. I think the A's maybe could surprise some people. I really like what they got going down there, even in that minor league ballpark they're at. But going to that fourth game, going to my team, where I don't like all the time going this way, but we got the Yankees, Brewers, my team. Game 1 will be Freddie Peralta, Carlos Rendon. Game 2 will be former Yankee Nestor Cortez versus, it's a question mark, maybe Max Fried. Game 3 is Aaron Savali. I'm guessing there'll probably be Stroman, maybe a Will Warren, but I don't think Will Warren, because he pitched the other day in Miami. Maybe Carlos Carrasco, who made the roster, opted out but ended up making the roster. So that 4-5 will probably be Warren, Carrasco, Warren, or the other way around. But I'm thinking Game 3 we'll see Stroman, who is a starter. But where to start with the Yankees? Injury riddled. They get rid of their facial hair rule. Only facial hair you could have on the Yankees was a mustache, and that's gone. And then what happens when they get rid of that? The injuries kick in, and they start, and they lose Luis Gil, and then they lose Garrett Cole for the year. Gil will be back in be out for at least 3 months, but going to lean heavily on Carlos Rendon and Max Fried, who Rendon was probably looking to go to that 3 spot, and now he's back in that 2 spot where he was last year, but going to lean heavily on him. Former Brewer Devin Williams will face his former team, obviously one of the better young closers in the game, and that was a great pickup. Newly acquired Bellinger is going to have a very good year. I'm projecting a very good year. This guy's going to be hitting behind Aaron Judge. He's going to be seeing a lot of guys on base, high RBI numbers. I see some 25 to 30 home runs at least. A lot of RBI situations. Jazz Chisholm's moving back to his natural position at second base. I see a good year for Jazz too. Jason Dominguez will be starting in left field. Made the club. Did struggle it early, but the bat came alive. I think he ended up batting .291 in the spring, and the left field concerns started to become quieter. I'm excited for Austin Wells this year. I think he's having a big year. I think his approach in the World Series after Game 1 and Game 2 and even Game 3, he changed his approach, and it's going to work because he's hitting really good right now. And on the other note, he'll be the first catcher in Yankees history to be in the leadoff position ever. With the possible against lefties will be newly acquired Paul Goldschmidt. They're going to lean heavily on Paul Goldschmidt. Hopefully he had a strong second half. Hopefully he can continue off that because he'll be a big guy. But you're getting a solid defensive first baseman. Hopefully he can stay healthy. You have Ben Rice, who's going to be forced into that DH role with the Giancarlo Stanton injury. And he had a big spring. I think he had 5 home runs this spring. So I'm really excited to see what Ben Rice does. Hey, on a little note for everybody there from the Miami area, I know we got a couple people on the podcast. My producer, Bobby Melendez from Hialeah. J.C. Escara made the roster from Hialeah, Florida. Nickname I think he went to FIU. Yeah, FIU. No, FAU or I get those two confused. FAU or FIU. Nickname was the Hialeah Cannon. So for everybody out there in Miami, J.C. Esquera, a local boy from Hialeah, Florida, makes the Yankees roster, and that might be due to the injury to Giancarlo Stanton right there, because Ben Rice is going to have to slide into more of that DH role when he was going to be that backup catcher, but that backup catcher spot opened up more when that injury went down. So good for J.C. Esquera, because that guy's got a hell of a story. Was like 15th round out of college, bounced around a little bit, really struggled in Double-A, did a lot of odd jobs, substitute teacher, Uber driver, got a shot with the Yankees and making the best of it and makes the MLB roster. That's an unbelievable story on that. But, I mean, they're going to lean heavily on that pen, which will be solid. You add Fernando Cruz from the Reds in that trade in Jose Trevino. He's going to be a solid guy. You still got Luke Weaver, who was unbelievable in a playoff run. You still have Tim Hill, who should have been pitching in Game 1, but he wasn't, who had a great October, and then you had Devin Williams. So I'm excited to see that. Third base is a question mark. We got Oswaldo Cabrera at third base, starting at third base. There's one immediate name I want the Yankees to look at for immediate relief, and that's Brandon Drury, who was released by the White Sox after a great spring. 4-10 spring with the White Sox. He got released. I would love the Yankees to give him another shot back in New York, back in the Bronx. But I do not see that happening anytime soon. Could be. I know the Yankees will be very active on the trade market with pitching, maybe a From or Valdez, but I don't see that happening because I think it's a wide open West. So that I think they're still going to be in contention. Same thing with the next guy on the list, Luis Castillo, but that's all depending on there. Maybe a Sandy Alcantara, maybe a Cease, maybe a King. I think those names. Maybe an Eric Fetty, who's another name to watch. Maybe a Sonny Gray, but I think it's a been there, done that, and that's probably a no. But I would say Alcantara is more a guy to watch. A Fetty's a guy to watch because of that. On the Brewers side, you get Nestor Cortez in that trade. You get Brandon Woodruff back. You're moving your third baseman, Joey Ortiz, to third. You'll have Bryce Trang at second again. You have Caleb Durbin starting at third. Solid young core in the outfield with Sal Friedlich, Garrett Mitchell, and Jackson Torino. So I'm excited to see this I'm a diehard Yankees fan. So, I mean, I'll be watching tomorrow, ready to rock, ready for some baseball. Next game, San Francisco, Cincinnati. I think this is pretty exciting because I think San Francisco is going to be a little better than what expected, and I really like what Cincinnati did this offseason to add to their young core. So I'm excited. But I mean, on the game front, we got Logan Webb going Game 1 against Hunter Green. We got a question mark Game 2 for the Giants. Maybe a Verlander, maybe Robbie Ray or Jordan Hicks. I could see those guys. And then we got Nick Lodolo. Game 3, still a question mark. They still haven't named a starting pitcher for that game either against Nick Martinez for the Reds. Same names. Robbie Ray, Verlander, maybe a Hicks. How will the big acquisition of Willie Adames fare? Will he live up to expectations? Solid guy in defense. Will he be able to live up to contract expectations? I could see this rotation for the Giants going one of two ways. I could see it going really good, or I could see it going really bad. We haven't seen Robbie Ray in a while. I'm expecting, if he stays healthy, I think it's going to be good rotation and exciting things in San Francisco, but it's all going to depend on health. On the Cincinnati side, youth and excitement. You got Ellie De La Cruz, who is a human highlight reel. Did have high strikeout numbers last year, but has been working on it and bring it down. You get back Matt McClain from UCLA in Southern California. You get him back, who's just a solid contact guy, solid defensive second baseman. You add Gavin Lux, who's penciled in at third. Rotation has some serious upside. You got Hunter Green, who's got that 100-mile-per-hour fastball. You got Nick Lodolo. You add Brady Singer from the Royals. You still got Martinez. When are we going to see Rhett Lauder, who is a top pick out of Wake Forest? When are we going to see number 2 overall pick Chase Burns, who had a solid spring? You obviously lose Jonathan India. That's going to be a big hit, but getting Matt McClain back, adding Gavin Lux, hopefully they can make up for that. Going to the next game will be there's too many games. There's games I want to watch, but we can't talk all of them. I really want to see the Cubs D-backs. You're going to have Justin Steele versus Zach Gallen game 1. You're going to have Jamison Tyone versus Mitch Kelly game 2. And you're going to have Shohei Imanaga versus Brandon Fratt. Maybe Eduardo Rodriguez too. Corbin Burns not going. Obviously, the Cubs already 0-2 as they lost both games to the Dodgers in Tokyo. But minus, I think this Cubs team some interesting players. You trade for Kyle Tucker, who's going to be that staple. You have some very good young guys with Matt Bush starting at third base. And then you got Pete Crow Armstrong, who's in center field, who batted over 500 this spring. So I could see the Cubs right there in contention. I think the NL Central is wide open too. With the Cubs, the Brewers always find a way to win games and be right there. I think that, in my opinion, I think Cincinnati with the addition also to all those young players with the addition of Terry Francona is going to make a big difference. But I think it's a wide open division that anyone could win, maybe minus St. Louis. But going on the D-backs, I'm expecting them to push the Dodgers a little bit this year. Not winning the West. I think they end up with the wild card, but I think they can push the Dodgers a little bit because of that strength of that starting pitching. You add Corbin Burns. You still have Starlin Marte. You have Corbin Carroll. You add Josh Naylor, who's going to give you some serious pop in that lineup. Oh, man, I lost all my notes on this. I'm expecting a big year from Corbin Carroll. A bounce back, was kind of down last year, but I'm expecting him to have a serious bounce back. I'm expecting him to have a bounce back year. You obviously got Marte, who's probably the best second baseman in baseball. So I think they kind of pushed the Dodgers this year. In that, do they win it? No, but I think they can kind of keep it interesting because of that. I know what everybody says is the Dodgers going to break the record this year was 116 wins. No, I don't think it, but I think they win. I would say 102 at the most, in my opinion, for the Dodgers. But I think they cruise, but do I see it a 10 game lead in the NL West? No, I don't, because I think it's a little better. I think the D-backs can kind of keep them honest. Other games and players I'm watching, Baltimore, Toronto. I think the interesting one is Tampa Bay Rays and the A's now, not the Oakland A's, both playing baseball in minor league stadiums. What's going to happen if the A's or the Rays, and the Rays definitely, the A's a longer shot, the Rays could make the playoffs. What's going to happen if we have October baseball in a minor league stadium as the Rays are playing at George M. Steinbrenner Stadium in Tampa Bay? Still can't sell out the stadium, but they're playing there, and it's only like 11,000 seats. But hey, on notes of the A's, they sold their stadium out, but which Sacramento is probably pretty excited. They got a baseball club for a couple years. And maybe this is a tune-up for maybe Sacramento is in line for getting a club. We got a lot of places that are in line for a baseball team. Obviously, my producer Bobby, he's in Nashville. Nashville's in line for a baseball team, and they've already got a location. I don't know if I'm not 100%. I used to live in Nashville if they started breaking ground, but they had a location. I'm pretty sure it was right there on the Cumberland River. They got a name. It'd be the Nashville Stars. They're just waiting for the MLB to pull the trigger. Nashville's all ready to go. And I know I know some people on this place would be pretty excited if Nashville had a ball club. I think that'd be a pretty good sign because, as you see, that would probably, that little area is a little bare of baseball. I think it'd be a good place to baseball to get it, get that market because there's not the closest baseball team to that area is the Braves, and that's what 5-6 hours. So I think that'd be a pretty solid one. On the note of Max Muncy, not third baseman Max Muncy from the Dodgers, but Max Muncy with the A's makes the opening day roster. A guy is scouted out of high school from Thousand Oaks High School. Really liked him. Loved the way he played. Played with his hair on fire. I really like Max Muncy. I think position flexibility for him. Really excited to see what Max Muncy does. Another game I'm watching is Pittsburgh, Miami. Paul Skeens makes his debut. How's year 2 going to look? And then we'll on the Little Marlins note, we get the long-awaited debut back for Sandy Alcantara, back from Tommy John. Trade piece? I think so, because we all see where the Marlins are going. They are betting on the future. So I'm excited to see what Alcantara does because he did have a good spring coming back. But I think he ends up getting traded. I want to see maybe a Yankees go for an Alex Baum sometime. But hey, guys, on that note, we got baseball starting tomorrow. I'm excited for the as a Yankees fan and just a pure baseball fan. I'm excited that baseball is back. It's a great time for sports. Obviously, we got March Madness right there in the thick of things in the Sweet 16 starting back up tomorrow. Who's the first game tomorrow? Who's the first game? What? Oh, is that Alabama, BYU? Yeah, I love all sports. But, I mean, we got Alabama, BYU, Florida, who's I think Florida wins the NCAA tournament. But Texas Tech, Arkansas, and Arizona, Duke. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all zoned in on that. But we got baseball tomorrow, so I'll be zoned in on it. I'll just be flipping back and forth sports. I love this. It's a great time. We got baseball. We got March Madness. The Masters around the corner. For all my NFL draft lovers, we got it. If you do love talking football, the check down on Friday with our host Bobby Melendez and Dave Stanger. Great show just to get all football news, not just Dolphins news. But on the other note, we got baseball around. I'm jacked up for baseball. I'm ready to go, even with all my team's injuries. I just love baseball. So, I'm ready to go. And opening day is always been a great day in my life, so I'm pumped up. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Please remember, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Russ Morgan. This is On Deck here on FTSN. And we're back. Never mind. I jumped the gun. Well, we can talk more baseball, I guess. I guess I jumped the gun a little bit there. On the Yankees note, anybody out there I want to see that Orioles Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays might be a little exciting this year. And the Blue Jays are definitely in conversation right now. I've heard it's been heating up. They might sign Vlad Guerrero. Top 100. When are we going to see Roman Anthony? All right. All right. Baseball tomorrow. Tune in all day. Really excited. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I'm Russ Morgan. This is On Deck here on FTSN.